What's up, Comic Frontline? It's Jeremy here from Mr. J's Comic Reviews, and I am back once again, and I am joining the rest of my fellow Frontliners in discussing our top 5 favorite DC Universe Rebirth titles for the month of June. Now, if you haven't checked out everybody else's videos, I highly suggest you guys go check those out, leave comments on their videos, then come back, watch mine, see if you agree or disagree, and, leave your comment down below as always. So, this kind of is going to work very much like how we do our top 5s on Frontline Live, and this pretty much, we take all the titles from the month of June from DC Rebirth that we've read, including the DC Universe Rebirth special that came out at the end of the month of May, so that will also be included in here. And we're going to start with, the worst, or in my case, least favorite, because I didn't really dislike any of the titles that came out for this month, at least. Who knows where that's going to go from this point on, but at least for the month of June, I didn't really dislike any titles. So this would have to be my least favorite, and I'm going to have to give that to The Flash Rebirth #1. Because to me, that book was kind of just one massive retread, and it didn't really give me any new information except for maybe a little bit towards the end. But even then, I was reading The Flash beforehand, and this is nothing new to me. Granted, yeah, it gives you a really good job. It does a really good job for new readers of introducing who Barry is and who the Flash is and what he's going through. And if you didn't get a chance to pick up the DC Universe Rebirth special, you get to know what happens there. But for me, because I've been reading Flash and because I picked up the DC Universe Rebirth special, I was bored with this. It kind of just felt like one massive recap, and because the artwork was so beautiful in the Rebirth special, a lot of the Rebirth recap stuff that was in the Flash Rebirth felt like a kind of a lesser version of the Rebirth special, so I didn't really care for it too much. So I'm gonna have to say The Flash was my least favorite book from DC Rebirth for the month of June. Now now we're getting to the top 5, and my number 5 I would have to give to Green Arrow Rebirth #1. Man, oh man. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. You guys may or may not know that I tried Benjamin Percy's Green Arrow for like 4 issues, and I was like, nah, this is not for me. Like, I really enjoyed when the Arrow writers were on it, and they were actually making like legit comic book accurate Green Arrow, at least personality-wise. They just kind of threw in Felicity in there, which wasn't really necessary, I'll admit that. But they did a really good job, I felt. And ever since, Ben Percy just couldn't really hook me with this story, with the werewolf and all that junk. And it got to the point where I was like, I'm not even going to try his Green Arrow, because even with this whole, proposal of Green Arrow and Black Canary meeting up again, I don't know. But then I was like, well, it's a pretty light week. I might as well try it. And I tried it. I read it, and this book, out of anything else, probably surprised me the most. Because I had pretty high expectations for some of the books, and most of those books met my high expectations. But I had 0 expectations for Green Arrow, and man, when I read that book, I was just like, reunited, and it feels so good. I was so hyped. Like, it actually got me to put Green Arrow back on my pull list again. So that alone lets it earn the number 5 spot on my top 5 list. So number 4, I'm gonna have to give to Superman #1. Even though this isn't a real Superman on the shirt here, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Superman #1. Man, Dad'd be proud. But yeah, Superman #1. I loved that issue, and especially just all the emotion for Jonathan Kent. Poor kid, man. The stuff he went through with the heat vision accident, and I like the little setup with his little possible future Lana Lang neighbor girl. It's all looking really good, and I like that this is more of the family book that's going to deal more with the Clark White or Clark Smith side. And Action Comics is going to be the more Superman in action, obviously, oriented book. So that was awesome. Tomasi did a great job with that. Loved that book. So number 3 goes to Wonder Woman. you guys should not be surprised at all. If you've known me for any amount of time here on Comic Frontline or just on my channel in general, you know that I loves me some Wonder Woman, and Greg Rucka is like the seminal writer when it comes to Wonder Woman. And man, Liam Sharp's artwork for that Wonder Woman Rebirth issue, my god, it was beautiful. Rucka just, he stepped right back into his role and it fit like a glove. I love the narrative structure. It felt like an old school Greek myth, and the art was spectacular. The imagery with the mirror and the use of the lasso, which we haven't seen used in that way since Rucka's run with the Hecatia. I don't know how to pronounce that story, but you guys, if you've read it, know what I'm talking about. It was an awesome story. I cannot wait for the rest of this run. The first issue was also very good, but the Rebirth issue really set the bar high for me. So I'm going to give the number 3 spot to Wonder Woman Rebirth, issue number 1. And the number 2 spot, these last two were hard, because I was like, do I go with my fan pick, or do I go with just which issue affected me the most? And in the end, I was like, which issue affected me the most? So I'm sure if you guys actually if you pause it for a sec and you take a look at my wall here, this entire wall is dedicated to Batman. Like, you see all the different Batman issues here, and I even have a Joker poster right there. But yeah, so Detective Comics issue number 935. My god, like, that issue put a big smile on my Bat fan face, because I was loving every single page. The fact that we reestablished the relationships between Cassie, Steph, and Tim, like their friendship, and I ship Tim and Steph so hard. Like, they're my second favorite inter-Bat family ship. So I ship Tim and Steph. I'm glad they're back together. That made me so happy. Again, seeing Steph and Cass and how they interact is always awesome. I like that they also mentioned Harper in there. So Harper's just not forgotten, even though she's retired for now. So that was cool. I like the conversation between Bruce and Tim about, how Bruce values him as a partner, how much he means to him as a Robin, and how much, Bruce values him, and what the Robin name means to Tim, but the fact that Tim also kind of took it and made it his own thing. But at the same time, Tim was always like, this isn't going to be my thing forever. I'm going to eventually get out. But you know what? He feels like he can do so much work as Red Robin that he just can't get out of the game, and I really like that, character dynamic. I also like, the use of Betty. Why did I say Betty? Kate. It wasn't Betty Kane, it was Kate Kane. I like the use of Kate Kane here. I like that Batwoman, Kate, is not like, Bruce's, sidekick in this. She honestly has a little bit more authority in the training of these kids than Bruce does, and that's awesome. And I love her whole drill sergeant routine, and the fact that she pushes these kids to their absolute limits. It's really cool. I like seeing that. I like seeing how well she fits into this team dynamic, even more so than Bruce does, because Bruce, even though he partners up sometimes, at his core he's kind of a lone wolf, and I like that they address that. And again, Kate's dad, incorporating Kate's dad into the story was really nice. I just loved that issue. As a Batman fan, this is what I've been waiting for a Batman story. Like, just a Bat Family-centric book, because the Bat Family is what makes Batman so great. I love that. So, next up is my number 1. And this one is the issue that kicked it all off, that made me tear up, that gave me hope in the DC Universe once again, and that is, of course, the DC Universe Rebirth Special number 1. My god, I have read that book numerous times. this month, and it just doesn't stop. You know, it doesn't lessen the impact each time you read it. You feel, you do nothing but feel. You cry, you laugh, you have that nostalgia of those characters that are brought back. You just have those moments of, and Wally, and oh my god, Wally, and the hug between Barry and Wally is just always, that's forever gonna be one of the most beautiful images, I've seen in recent DC Comics to date. Like, within the past 5 years, I will go that far as to say that. I loved the Rebirth issue, and that's why it makes my #1 spot. So you guys tell me in the comments down below, what are your top 5 favorite DC Rebirth titles from the month of June, including the DC Rebirth special? Let me know your list down in the comments down below, and what is your least favorite also. Don't forget to leave this video a like to let us know you enjoyed it, and don't forget to check out everybody else's videos, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to Comic Frontline if you haven't already. Take a second of your time, and it's easy to do. It's a big red button. You can't miss it. And also, if you like what I did here and you want to see more from me on my individual channel, you can go to Comic Frontline's page, and on the side there are all the members' individual channels, and of course my channel is Mr. J's Comic Reviews. You'll find it. My avatar matches the one in the thumbnail, so definitely go check that out. I would really appreciate it if you gave me a sub as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this top 5 list, and what have you thought about this whole, top 5 list thing that we've been doing so far as a whole. Let us know in the comments down below. As always, this has been Jay from Mr. J's Comic Reviews for Comic Frontline. And until next time, like I always say, once a comic book geek, always a comic book geek, and once a DC fan, always a DC fan, even though I've been called a Marvel fanboy. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.